Growing up in this world, I know it's hard to realize your self-worth.
Stand up and be the person you were truly meant to be, which are the kings and queens of the planet. We are the mothers and fathers of civilization. We bring life and culture to the whole planet and walk on it like that and treat our earth and treat our girls and women with love and respect. For if they are well, we will all be well. Ashlee, family.
Next up to the podium is Ashlee Marie Preston. She is an award-winning media personality, a producer, and a civil rights activist. She is historically the first trans woman to become editor-in-chief of a national publication and the first openly trans person to run for state office in California. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ashlee Marie Preston.
One of the most beautiful experiences of today was the opening ceremony and the libations in which we had the opportunity to remember and acknowledge our ancestors whose backs and shoulders we stand on to enjoy all of the freedoms that we have today. But there was a name that was missing from some of these stories, and there was a name that was missing from the list of ancestors, and that name was Frances Thompson. Many of you have never heard of Frances Thompson because it wasn't intended for you to know who she was. Frances Thompson was a former black trans slave who was freed in Memphis, Tennessee in 1866. And it was a time where white people were really upset that they lost the Civil War, and instead of just lying in their defeat, they picked up their old uniforms and their guns, and they began going out into the neighborhoods and communities and hanging our black men from trees. And then once our black men were hanging from trees, there was no one left to protect us. So black women had to do what we do best, which is protect one another. And so Frances Thompson and her housemate Lucy Smith one evening were in their home when white Confederate soldiers kicked in their door and demanded that they prepare dinner for them. They obliged, and once they prepared dinner for them, the men then asked them to offer their bodies to them for the evening. Frances Thompson refused, and therefore her and Lucy Smith were both raped. That wasn't anything new for that time, because once the black men were hanging from the trees, they were breaking into our homes and they were raping black women and children. The free people in the North could not be bothered or concerned with the egregious experiences that we had to go through because they had made it, because they were the slaves who could run fast enough. Although we had Abraham Lincoln from the White House saying that we should abolish slavery, there was no direct action in play to help free us and liberate us from slavery. So Frances Thompson, as a black trans woman, but more importantly as a black woman, did what black women do, and she protected other black women. She reached out to a federal body who was investigating the Memphis riots of 1866 to determine if it was in fact true that they were lynching black people and that they were raping black women and children. Frances Thompson, a black trans woman, became the first black person in America to testify before a congressional committee to abolish slavery and to task them with doing something about the lynching of black people and the rape of black women and children. But why don't we say her name? We don't say her name because once they found out that Frances Thompson was a trans woman, they set out to do a smear campaign. They politicized her gender identity and said that she was a fraud. They arrested her for cross-dressing and for being a man wearing women's clothing. They shaved her head, abused her, and assigned her to a chain gang. They later said that because Frances Thompson was a fraud, that all of these black women that Frances brought with her to the congressional committee hearing were also frauds. They were also lying about their rape. They were also lying about the black men who were hanging from trees. And therefore they used it to gaslight and dismiss the experiences of black people in the South who weren't yet freed. Frances Thompson died 10 years later in 1876 of dysentery. She died alone because the oppressor was able to convince the black community that the reason why black women were still being raped and the reason why black men were still hanging from trees is because of a fraud such as Thompson, who wasn't a trans woman, but she was really a man wearing women's clothing. She was the one to blame for that. That was our first introduction to respectability politics. We need to unsubscribe from respectability politics that are authored by people that have never respected black people.
All right, at this time I want to introduce to you your Sacramento Poet Laureate. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Khalypso!
Just a quick correction, I'm the Youth Poet Laureate. Please nobody let Indigo Moore get mad at me. So. The art or act or process of affirming a fellow black person or being wholly affirmed in your black existence. Example, he nodded in blasphemation to his co-worker Lamar as they walked into the Human Resources office to file a complaint. Synonyms, blassertion, blackleration, melanatement, africlamation, anigament, blattestation, blackxistence. Blasphemation for the battered ocean. Sister, I know your resilience better than they ever could. They are so wrong about you. They saw you steel yourself against the wind without crying and thought that is what makes you strong. They told you to govern your energy because if they were to admit they had walked to your edges and beat your water, the storms you sent could not be called villain. When you roared, you were menacing the innocent coast, but when you purred, you were hoarding your riches of peace to yourself and sparing none for the hungry mouths of thieves. I'm saying I see you. Even on days when your green is cloudier than glass, I'm saying I know how much it must hurt to have your children thrown back into you, dying and then dead because you dare to hold them so close. I'm saying I know there have been scores of open palms slapped into the open face of you and you never once quelled, even when you wanted to. I'm saying when you rise up and swallow us all, don't let anyone tell you that that won't save you. Don't let anyone try to force you to say sorry.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we spoke about the youth. Now it is time to hear from the youth. Your next speaker is our youth speaker. Her name is Trinity Mosby. She is a freshman at Laguna Creek High School, where she's enrolled in the International Baccalaureate program. Ladies and gentlemen, Trinity has a 4.4 GPA. She plans to attend either Spelman College or Stanford University to become a cardiothoracic surgeon. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our youth speaker, Trinity Mosby.
It warms my heart to see all of you this morning in celebration of our sisterhood, culture, and individual and collective accomplishments. But we are also here to shine a light on the inequities and injustices that we as Black women and Black girls still face on a daily basis. We are here to let everyone know that Black women matter and that Black girl magic is real. Ladies, we have done and are doing some amazing things. We are setting records and making history every single day. Black women are graduating from college at higher rates than ever before. We are leading in entrepreneurship and home ownership. We are unapologetically filling in spaces that we weren't welcomed nor invited into before. Representation is so important, and I'm grateful that women who look like us are continuously filling in these positions. From Michelle Obama, our forever First Lady, to Senator Shirley Chisholm and Senator Kamala Harris, to the 34 West Point graduates, the 19 judges recently elected in Harris County, Texas, to Anna Julia Cooper, one of the first Black women to ever earn a doctoral degree, to Dr. Nadine Burke Harris, the first ever appointed Surgeon General here in California, and Dr. Patrice Harris, the first ever Black woman president of the American Medical Association, to the London Breeds, Stacey Abrams, and Asia Browns that lead our local communities, and to the storytellers like Alice Walker and Ava DuVernay, who have gracefully shared our stories. We see you and we are proud. We thank you. Because of you, we know it is possible. The strength and fortitude that runs through these remarkable women is the same strength that we possess. You see, it is in our DNA. It is embedded in the fibers of our beings. We are supreme. We are the ultimate nurturers and caregivers. Black women have upheld entire communities since the beginning of time. We have been known to work tirelessly to feed our families and communities spiritually and physically. We are able to go through adversity and use it to strengthen those around us. Black women have long been turning lemons into lemonade. I want to take a moment and thank my personal lemonade makers who helped quench my thirst for knowledge, success, love, and so on. My mother, my grandmothers, my bonus mom, my aunties LaToya and Hilary, who are my mom's friends, my mentors, Miss Lorraine Pryor and Dr. Stacy Walton. Thank you for pouring into me and for allowing me to witness and live in your magic. As I lifted the accomplishments of some amazing Black women, I also want to say the names of Sandra Bland, China Gibson, Rekia Boyd, Miriam Carey, Tanisha Anderson, and Anaya Stanley Jones, who all fell victim to a system that fails us every day. As Malcolm X once said, the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. It is evident that this is still true today. Black women and Black girls are murdered at disproportionate rates and are more likely to experience excessive use of force when in contact with law enforcement. Not only are we not safe when in the hands of the ones we're supposed to protect and serve within our communities, we encounter disservices when in the hands of our medical caregivers. Black women have experienced injustices when seeking medical care since the beginning of slavery. Black women are 2 to 6 times more likely to die in childbirth than white women and have a higher risk of infant mortality due to the lack of educational resources and proper medical care. The very people we are to trust with our lives are literally killing us. This has to stop. What we go through is real and it matters. These stories need to be heard and talked about. So let's open up the dialogue and let's get uncomfortable because that is the only way that we will evoke change. In closing, I'd like to speak directly to my peers. We have to step up, ladies, and we have to represent ourselves and the amazing women who come before us. We need to shut all these stereotypes and misconceptions down. They need to know that we are here and we are not here to play. They cannot and will not overlook or dismiss us any longer. So I challenge all of us. I challenge all of us to step up. Vote, vote, vote. Run for any type of leadership position in your schools or at your jobs. And when we get into these positions, let's reach back, give back, and pull more of us in every step of the way. Forbes.com recently published an article that stated that women who support women are more successful. So let's support one another. Let's celebrate one another. Let us be inclusive of all women, including our LGBTQ+ sisters. Let's always respect one another and always remind each other of our importance and significance. Let's leave the petty at the door because together we can change the world. Beautiful Black women and Black girls, speak your truth. You are worthy. You are strong. You are smart. You are beautiful. You are capable. You are amazing and you are loved. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You matter. Don't you ever forget your magic. Thank you.